Hi everyone, and welcome to Frozen Fertility, the challenges of storing eggs, sperm and embryos. And I think we can still say it, Happy New Year. So I'm Sarah Norcross, and I'm the director of the Progress Educational Trust, PET, a charity that was founded in 1992, so we're creeping towards our 30th anniversary, to advance the public understanding of science, law and ethics in the fields of human genetics, assisted reproduction and embryology. And we aim to improve choices, and we do this by promoting the responsible application of science and by engaging with the public and professionals to do this. And there are three key ways we do it: by leading the debate, by influencing policy, and by informing and explaining. And tonight's event ticks quite a lot of those boxes. So holding an event like this one, publishing accurate and unbiased news each week in our BioNews publication. And those are our sort of key objectives and key outputs as a charity. If we don't discuss the challenges and the issues and the difficulties that the fertility people working in fertility clinics face and the patients face, then how can we think about what needs to change in the future to make things easier for people that work in clinics? Because if we make their lives easier, that has a positive impact on patients. Or perhaps that's my Pollyanna view of the world. But, you know, we need to do this, particularly when we have an NHS that's struggling to cope, you know, with multiple demands being made on it. Now, in relation to some of these issues, I'd like to say I have a law degree. Admittedly, I got this around the time of the Magna Carta, but I struggle to understand some of the law and regulation that James and Rachel will come on to discuss. And in fact, in the run-up to this event, I had one of those anxiety dreams that you're about to go into the exam room and turn over the paper on fertility regulations. I can't say I woke up in a horrible cold sweat. But that's quite enough from me. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce Professor Allan Pacey, who his greatest accolade, of course, is in fact one of the trustees of Progress Educational Trust, but he's also Professor of Andrology at the University of Sheffield. So I'll hand you over to Allan's safe hands.
Thank you, Sarah. When I first got Sarah's email to chair this debate, I was a bit miffed. I was a bit miffed because she didn't ask me to be a speaker, but she'd only asked me to be the chair, because this is a topic that I'm passionate about for many reasons, as I will explain. But then I read the notes that she sent me, and I can see that as chair, it gives me a great deal of flexibility tonight, and it allows me to ask some interesting questions, so I may well get my views in there at some point as well. I've got a professional and personal reason to be interested in this topic. And I'll tell you the personal just to kick us off, in that I was working in an organisation that was banking sperm for men with cancer around the early 2000s. And then I suddenly discovered that I had a malignancy, and I perhaps ought to have banked my sperm. But nobody discussed it with me, and I had to organise it myself. Now, I was in a lucky position because I had a sperm bank that I could talk to, and we could do all the necessary screening and storage and consent forms, but it opened my eyes to all the complexities, not just with the law, but in terms of decision making, in terms of service provision, in terms of how men and women get access to fertility preservation services. I wrote a paper for the BMJ, one of their opinion pieces, the kind of views of somebody who's in the profession. And if you're interested in that and my thoughts at that time, then you'll be able to find it online. I think if you Google sperm you can bank on, which was the title I gave it, then you'll find it.